Konnichiwa!
Howdy y'all!
I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to
Sumo Kaboom, where we talk about all things sumo.
Yes, and we are continuing our series on Oyakata this week because there's so much to be learned about who is coaching these incredible sumo wrestlers that we all love. We're going to continue with a Tokiwayama stable. I'll tell you all about that in a second because it's led by a really fun, interesting guy. But first,
a news flash. Okay, the big news this week, most everything else is all Banzuke related. And we're going to talk about Banzuke stuff, but not this week, but next week, because we're going to be getting closer to the boss show, and it'll just be even more exciting next week. Plus, this is like a holiday week. We got stuff that we've been doing. Anyway, so I'm just going to tell you about one tiny bit of news, and the rest of the big news and stuff will be next week, which is all Banzuke related. This week, we found out that our beloved Takamisugi got married. He has not had the ceremony. That will be sometime next year. But he says, I am no longer alone.
oh,
So I have to work even harder. She is a 27-year-old woman that he met through an acquaintance when he was in the Makushita division. So that's been a while.
Yeah.
And they're planning the ceremony and reception next year. So who knows why they're telling us other than maybe he already has a child at this point.
Probably.
I mean, I'm always surprised at this stuff. It's like there's just one notice and then you find out like a wrestler you've been watching forever, like his personal life is just exploded. And we just get news. Yes. And you just get news on the back end of it. I'm like, I need more day-to-day stuff. But I'm happy to find out that sweet Takamisugi found a good girl from Aomori Prefecture and is going to have a wonderful life. And he is no longer alone and working harder than ever and with much determination, he says.
Do we know anything about her?
Nope. They never do. I mean, they didn't even say she was an ordinary woman. Like, yeah, she just...
Who is in charge of these gossip shows over in Japan? We need to go over there and jump into the pool and be in charge of who these guys are dating.
I know. We need like a TMZ, even though I detest TMZ, but like a TMZ only for sumo. Very sumo specific TMZ.
We would
like
do it
shot
very
the
nicely.
Same way. Of course. It would just be us on our two computers and then like a cam just quickly panning between both of us.
Yes.
Being like, did you hear about Takamisugi? The sad thing is that there wouldn't be tons of news. We just have to blow up one very specific news.
But we would always be very, very, very nice to them.
That's true.
That's the thing.
We wouldn't trash anybody.
No. We
No.
just always we just say, oh, these boys are so happy and this girl seems so nice and they're going to have a long, wonderful life together. And
I imagine that exists. It's probably in magazine form. So we just have to learn how to read our hiragana a little bit better to be able to, and our katakana and our kanji, to be able to keep up with
It's coming.
It's
coming
Japan
slow.
is a wonderful place, but they obviously have gossip magazines too. So it's out there. We just got to find it.
Okay.
And report on it in TMZ style. And that... Really, I was really desperate for news, and I found out that former Yokozuna Takanohana got another a Boston Terrier puppy.
You know what, though? This is big news because it relates exactly to what I'm going to talk about this week.
Is dogs?
Everything you have reported on thus far has something to do with the Oyakata that I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
You probably didn't even realize that.
No, I didn't.
Okay, but tell me about...
Taka no show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the Tokiwayama stable, right? So, no, but Takanohana of no one really probably, not many people really, well, maybe people remember Takanohana. He was a really great Yokozuna, but you don't see him active anymore because he left the JSA after he was in Oyakata and he left and he never looked back. But I follow him on social media and I saw that he got a puppy and he already had another Boston Terrier. So his feed I found is just mostly him with the puppies as well. And I'm like, I'm okay with this content. Like I am here for this content that's heavily puppy. So I don't know what its name is, but
yeah. Okay, what color?
well, little Boston Terriers are little black and white. Extremely cute, but it's always cute when you see a big, tall guy holding puppies. Well, here's another bit of information that was not really reported, but I noticed that he wears a ton of fanny packs, and he is the former sumo wrestler that loves a fanny pack. Now, for all of our British fans, I learned that you don't. So I worked in Scotland. I learned that fanny is not what we refer to as fanny. It's a different word. So they say bum bags there.
Bum bags.
So for all of our UK listeners, apologies for being extremely profane and calling it a fanny pack. But here in America, we call it a fanny pack. And so I enjoyed finding out that Takano Hana prefers a fanny pack. This is all the news I got for you this week, besides all the Bonzuke stuff.
There are not many
it's,
people out there that prefer a fanny pack or a bum bag.
Right. Well, I don't know. I really enjoy a bum bag or a fanny pack when I'm hiking. It's really great. Yeah, you don't have anything on your back, no backpack. Yeah, I mean, maybe we need to make a sumo, fanny pack. I'm not great at sewing. That looks beyond my pay grade. But if anybody is out there that sews and has got some sumo wrestling material, I would love to commission a sumo wrestler fanny pack.
Y'all, I want you to know that
What if it was
while recording.
Oh, wait. Wait, what if it was a fanny pack that had the Yokozuna belt on it?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I was just gonna say, while we're recording right now, I am sitting here wearing a pair of pants that you made.
Oh.
So I have faith that you could make a fanny pack that looks like the Yokozuna belt. Oh, Leslie,
I haven't touched a sewing machine in 6 months. I know it'll be all backward zippers and stuff.
I will cut out the little lightning things.
Well, there's no material. There's no material that you could. I mean,
it just needs to be a white bum bag with lightning.
That is true.
That's all it needs to be.
Okay,
this.
if somebody knows somebody that can come up with a pattern to make a Yokozuna belt style fanny pack, please reach out to us. I know our listeners are varied. Somebody has a Nana out there that is like a whiz with patterns or something. See if we can commission a Sumo Kaboom fanny pack that looks like a Yokozuna belt. And I would be happy if it was just material that has little sumo wrestlers on it though too. I would love that as well. But I do think when we go in September, it would be amazing to wear a fanny pack that is a Yokozuna belt.
Yes. And I know we have lots of crafters and builders and sewers out there.
Yeah.
So I know someone out there could help us make this happen.
We're on a mission now. I'm on a mission.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I love it.
I will model it.
I love it.
I will do a fashion show on our Instagram if someone can come up with this brilliant idea and make it happen. And that, I guess, is all I got for news. Oh, well, before that's the last bit, I thought that was the last bit of news, and then we rambled on about fanny packs or bum bags. I wanted to tell you all about an exciting series. It's very slow in happening, but we have a tiny podcast called Sumo Chicken. And how it came to be is a little bit of a crazy story, but I got a connection in New York and we collaborated on a project and they were like, we're going to make a podcast and what do you want to make it about? How about sumo wrestling? And we're like, yeah, and chickens, because they are like the mascot for the JSA and everyone knows that a chicken is a sturdy, fluffy, big, large animal that sort of looks like a sumo wrestler. So we had a little 3-minute podcast that we created with Silver Sound Studios in New York City, and they sound designed for us, and we created Sumo Chicken. And we wanted to debut that with you all. That will be coming out this week, and it's not a full series yet. We're working on it 1 week at a time, but we're very excited to get our very first episode out there. We will be releasing it sometime later this week, so keep your eyes peeled. Is that the phrase? Yeah. For Sumo Chicken in your Instagram feed, or see it, and then we'll post the link in our socials, or we'll send it out through the newsletter. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It's really fun.
Sweet.
And I guess that's it.
Okay, perfect. Well, as I said earlier, I started looking at the Tokiwayama stable this week. That stable is led by the jolliest of the jolliest looking Oyakatas, the man who sings at the fan events, the coach who sings at the fan events. I believe he's the only coach that does sing at fan events.
Really?
Don't quote me on that. But I don't think I've seen another coach.
He's the voice
sing.
of Tokiwayama?
Yep. Tokiwayama Taichi, who used to wrestle under the name Takamisugi.
Oh.
And he made it up to Komusubi. That was his highest rank. But he is the one, you will see him often. He has a great big round face, always smiling, and he has these adorable dimples. That's pretty much how I recognize him. Is he's either singing or he's smiling with dimples. In Japan, they say that he looks like this anime manga character that is an earless robot cat. Name it's Daraemon. Doraemon, I think is how you say that. I don't know. I don't know the series, but they all say he looks like this earless robot cat.
Amazing.
And so he's got that nickname over in Japan. He's on Twitter. He's on Facebook. He seems to have all of the personality in his stable because his stable consists of, well, his top ranked wrestlers right now are Takakeisho, Takanosho.
Well, Takanosho has adorable smile dimples. Like, he has that kind of air about him. Now, Takakeisho is absolutely the opposite. He's like...
Exactly. Well, in Takanosho, he does seem really sweet and he's got some personality, but he's
shy.
not... He seems to be a little bit more shy,
Yeah.
like when the spotlight is on him, it's not like he goes, okay, I'll sing for you.
True. They
That's what
don't
I'll
send him
do."
to the belly rubbing event.
Exactly. He's pretty serious about what he's doing, and he's very sweet, and people love him because of that adorable smile and the body shape. And Takakeisho just seems to be grumpy most of the time, but I understand why. He's dealing with a lot of neck pain, so everybody would be grumpy.
Well, when I saw his wedding photos, though, we reported about that last week. Takakeisho got officially married. Did I mention that last week?
I don't think you did.
Well, there's wedding photos that are out. And
is he smiling?
Yes. At the beautiful wedding photos. So here's a tidbit of news that you must have missed because I was at Disneyland twice last week. So I'm going to give myself a break. I was on vacation. But the week before, I saw beautiful, gorgeous pictures from Takakeisho's official wedding to Yukina, who's gorgeous. And I was like, who is this smiling, handsome Takakeisho? And I was like, oh, That's what he looks like when he's in a happy mood. Yeah, beautiful wedding ceremony that they had. Yeah.
Okay, so this stable has been busy as of late. This master has been out and about planning weddings and then weddings to come. Like, he's been a busy guy is what it sounds like.
Yeah. You'd think that it was Takakeisho and wife who would be planning the weddings, but I have a feeling in the sumo world, it's like the Okami-san and the Oyakata who are like, let me tell you what's going to happen at your wedding.
Yes, exactly. So let me tell you a little bit about this man who's probably doing some wedding planning and seems to spend an awful lot of time in front of the microphone, either singing himself or telling the world that Takakeisho will be back once his neck is better and he's just going to have to learn to deal with the pain, but he's a great ozeki and give him a little patience, y'all. That seems to be what this guy does most of the time right now, okay? So, as I said, he got up to Komusubi, but let me tell you a little bit more about kind of his body shape first, okay? And then I'll tell you about his style of sumo. So he's 5'10" and a half, so he's a little bit taller than me.
That's about the size of Takakeisho?
Yeah, a little bit taller.
Okay.
A tiny bit, 330 pounds. He's 63 years old.
Oh.
So he's about to retire in a couple of years.
Well, then does that mean it goes to Takakeisho?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, is Takakeisho trying to hold on for 2 more years until this guy retires? I wonder.
Well, even then, he
what's
could retire, become an assistant coach, and then...
Well,
inherit.
he could, or he could hang in there for a good long time because he's still really young.
Right.
You know, he should have some time.
And the assistant coaches that are there now might be heir apparent too, and they might be.
Yeah. There's so much I don't know about this elder name world. We're going to talk about that in a second. But this guy, this Oyakata, debuted. He was one of those people that came into sumo when he was 15 years old. He debuted in 1976, and then he retired almost 20 years later in the mid-90s. Yeah. And it took him about 10 years to fight his way up above the curtain, as they say. And he stayed a rank and file Maegashira wrestler, kind of in that top division, going up to Komasubi twice, not doing well, and coming back down to rank and file for probably 10 years.
Wow.
So he had a very long career in the Maegashira ranks until injuries sort of took him out. But he's not one of those that was like a flash in the pan, in and out. He was there for 2 decades solidly. He was a pusher thruster. He rarely used belt throws, if at all. He would do like a kotanage, a beltless arm throw, but really he was a pusher. That's what he was famous for. And if anybody caught him by the belt, he pretty much lost. But he loved sumo. As a kid, he loved judo. He loved art. He loved... I just kind of get the sense that besides sumo, this is a guy who loves art. And he loves music.
Really?
Yeah. He married a woman who's a DJ.
What?
So... I know.
What?
She's a former disc jockey, which I think is hilarious and amazing. So I sort of sense this guy's life is just filled with music and song and art and sport, which is lovely.
This is all, it's just too much to handle, all this information. Like, how do we have 2 stoic wrestlers, but then like party dad? Like dad is like at the pool. He's got his flat brimmed like baseball cap on. He's got everybody coming over to party. He's got DJ wife going, and then the kids are like really serious.
That's why I say he seems to have all of the personality in this stable. It cracks me up. It's just one of those things where I marvel at it. I'm like, I would kind of like to be a fly on the wall at the training sessions because he seems so outgoing and loving in front of people. I wonder what he's like behind closed doors. I don't know. Let me tell you what's confusing about his story first. So he stayed in sumo for 20 years and then he retired because of injuries, as I said. He remained in sumo as a coach at the Tokiwayama stable. Okay. But he was one of those guys that couldn't buy elder stock. Why? I don't know. I don't know if it wasn't available or if he didn't have the money. I don't know. So he borrowed elder names instead, which I'd forgotten that you can do. You can just sort of borrow one here while it's available and then switch names there. And this is where I completely lose track of this guy because for a while he was known as Fujishima until Wakanohana took that name. And then he was known as Otowayama until Takanonami took that name, and then he became Tokiwayama, and then, all right, to make it really confusing, he, along with 5 other Oyakata, were forced to leave the Nisho no Seki Ichiman in 2010 after declaring his support for Takanohana's unsanctioned bid to be elected to be JSA chairman.
Yes, okay,
so
yeah. And that's when Takanohana left after that.
Well, yes. But see, this is what I don't understand. Okay. Because, yeah, he did leave, yes. There was all of this infighting, and Takanohana wanted to be the chairman of the JSA for whatever reason. And so they had this sort of like vote. Could Takanohana actually be the chairman? He lost that vote. The JSA then ousted him, or he left. And then he took his own supporters, these Oyakata that really wanted him to be at the JSA with him, or they got ousted out of this group of stables. And then he lost his supporters from the Targaryen household, and then he took the dragon eggs. And then, like, this is, I just get completely lost in this story because
then he married
took
Daenerys,
over,
and then.
Well, exactly. He took over running
and where is
Chica
Jon
no
Snow?
Stable.
Where is Jon Snow in all of this?
Yeah, it's just completely nutty. It's like a WTF moment. like really, but somewhere in all of the mess of all of that, he becomes the head coach of Takakeisho in 2018.
Oh, okay.
And I really have no idea because Takakeisho was part of a stable that was like moved around. And I don't know if he was coaching him all along or if he just like.
These were his Jesus years. You know, like there's like years like between like teen years that like no one knows what was going on with Jesus. And then he like reappears later. It's just like these are his Jesus years. We're like, we don't really know. It's not reported on. We just know that he reappears many years later and has a disciple. And that's Takakeisho.
Well, exactly. There is a story in here for a history sleuth like you, Leslie. Like, there really is. There's something about the Wakanahana Takanahana story in this powerhouse stable that
we did
one or both of them had created that had an unfair advantage because it had lots of Ozeki and lots of Yokozuna that didn't have to fight each other.
We did a special on brothers, and we did a special on Takanahana and Wakanahana, and I think we touched a little bit on that, but not of the powerhouse stable angle. We didn't discuss that as much.
Well, and I think what I need to do is kind of leave it in your lap because I honestly get lost in all the name switching.
Yeah.
And I just end up just being like, oh my God, House Lannister swapped 1,000 galleons of gold for a Rivendell statue. And then the elven mages came in while the witches prayed to the gods underneath the trees with the red leaves. And it all happened in a haunted castle named Harrenhal. Hall. And I have no idea what just happened.
But at the end of the day,
somehow, somehow, Takakeisho
rises from the ashes.
Like the year that Takakeisho won the tournament. No. He won a tournament in 2019. No. He won it in November 2018, promoted to Ozeki in 2019. Somehow this guy was his head coach in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gets even worse because in 2020, he does like a switcheroo. Let me just read you this sentence. See if you can make sense of this. This is right from Wikipedia. In November 2020, as former Chika no Ura owner, Masu Dayama's retirement approached. As part of a previous agreement, former Takamisugi, who's this coach, and former Masu Dayama swapped back their elder names, and former Takamisugi changed the name of the stable to his original elder name, Tokiwayama.
Okay. I think that kind of makes sense.
Great, because it makes absolutely no friggin' sense to me. There was a switching of names and then a switching back of names.
Well, because he went to a different stable, he had to change his name. He had to acquire some other status. And then once he got that, then he went back. Once he got the inherited stable, then he went back to the name he preferred, which is probably the name in the Ichiban or whatever, or a name more centric to whatever stable that was. That is hard to understand, though.
It blew me away, and it was one of those moments where I thought, oh, Leslie needs to be looking at this because I have completely lost the thread.
Well, it's okay. All we need to know is that he switched names a number of times, and now he's officially Tokiwayama, and he is Tokiwayama Oyakata at the Tokiwayama stable. So
yeah, and he's got a dragon.
But it was a long
somewhere.
journey getting there.
Yes, a very, very long journey. One other thing to note about him, he was pretty recently demoted to the lowest rung of Oyakata because Takagenji used to be a part of the stable, and Takagenji was booted out for cannabis use.
Oh, that's right.
And
poor kid.
because he was violently assaulting his juniors, hitting them. This master actually submitted a report to the JSA about what was happening in his stable, and the JSA said, oh, that's not good. We're retiring him. And you should have known better. So thank you for telling us. That's awesome. We're going to keep you as an Oyakata, but you are now the lowest form of Oyakata, and you shall be singing at all the fan events.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Well, I do think, they have to be blamed. In some ways, they raise them often from 15 years old. So you got to know, you got a live wire, you got a kid that's a jerk. You got to control that. I think in the beginning, I didn't understand that. I was like, how can they control the behavior of their disciples? often. They're traveling around. They're not always available. Well, now you kind of have these YouTube channels where you can watch the inner workings of it. And it's like, I know that the Oyakata isn't on camera all the time, but somebody should know right a floor below him all the crazy things that are happening. So if you know that's happening, you have snoozed through like major signs and signals. At least he caught it. He admitted it. He admitted it. But yeah, you got to know that stuff. And if you don't mention it, then you get punished, as you should, because you can't have a violent wrestler. Mm-mm.
And even if you do mention it, you get punished.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, because you should have mentioned it before.
Or not even that. You should have kept it from happening.
Exactly.
I think is the
exactly.
thought.
Yeah.
You
need to be a better coach, because
happened.
if you got a kid who's acting out like that, you kick them out. You make them leave. Like, even if they have potential, you're like, you're gone.
And so that is what happened to this kid. He is gone. He's out of sumo. He has dabbled in some other things. We'll just leave his story there.
Yes.
All right. But this Oyakata still has some amazing wrestlers up top fighting in the highest rank. Their stable website is amazing. Amazing, because normally you go to a stable's website and they'll just say a few things about specific wrestlers. Maybe they'll say, oh, okay, this is their hobby. This is maybe this is their favorite food. But this website asks all these fantastic other questions that I just absolutely loved. And so I thought maybe we'd play a little game and see if you could guess what Takakeisho and Takanosho's answers to some of these questions were, because I think they're fascinating. The Oyakata himself loves listening to music, of course.
His wife,
he
the
loves
DJ.
singing. Yep. He loves eating. He loves walking. He loves driving. So
I love
that's
it when
I
really love walking.
Now, all of his wrestlers and everyone that's a part of the stable, from hairdressers to other coaches to everyone involved in the stables, they all have one love. Absolutely one thing that they love to do. Do you want to guess what that is?
Saunas.
Nope. Good guess, though.
Karaoke?
No.
Video games?
Nope. They all have to get up very early in the morning. So what do you think they love?
The gym?
Nope.
Bird watching?
No. They love not training and sleeping in instead.
Sleeping. Yeah, I like that hobby. Sleeping. Another function.
Yep. So they all love having a day off and sleeping instead.
Well, I get it.
Which I think is great. Yeah. Okay. What do you think favorite color? Takakeisho's, Takanosho's, and his. What are their favorite colors, do you think?
Takakeisho, blue. Takanosho,
you will never guess Takanosho's.
Pink or orange?
No.
Aqua?
No.
Black?
Nope. You will never guess it. You will never guess it. No, Takanosho's favorite color is engine.
What color is that?
I think means gray. Engine gray? I don't know. This might be a translation thing, but I was like, engine?
Well, like E-N-G-I-N-E or like a Japanese word?
No, E-N-G-I-N-E.
Oh, yeah, that
engine.
must be a translation. Okay, we'll have to... But the color of a engine, like a fire truck engine, is red?
Oh, maybe it's a fire engine. See, I was just like, a train engine. It's got to be like steel gray, right?
Yeah.
He looks like a steel gray guy.
Who knows?
Takakeisho's favorite color is purple.
What? Oh, that's a surprise.
He's a purple guy. Yes, isn't it?
Okay.
And this Oyakata's favorite color is emerald green.
Oh, well, that's a good color. I'm not gonna disagree there.
I thought so too.
Okay.
Okay. When do you feel relief?
Oh, me personally?
As an Oyakata, what do you think his answer was?
Oh, when his
when
disciples get a winning record.
Oh, that's a lovely guess. That's a lovely guess. Nope. When they finish practice safely, and then he watches the afternoon roadshow, whatever that is.
Are you sure it's not Antiques Roadshow? Because that would be like a tidbit of information that I would absolutely adore.
Now, I already told you what everyone loves in the stable. So what do you think their answer was? Takanosho and Takakeisho, when asked, when do you feel relief?
I don't know. I give up. I just give up. I don't know. Drawing a blank.
Takakeisho said, when I took a bath and when I got into the futon.
Okay. I mean, that is a great feeling. Yeah. After a bath, straight into bed. Yeah. Clean sheets. Yeah.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Takanosho said baths.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
After practice and then sleep.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. But here's my, well, I mean, we got the favorite food. Just take one guess. What food do you think Takakeisho hates?
Hates?
Yes, hates.
I'm going to go with natto.
No. It's something everyone in the world likes.
Hamburgers?
No. It's a summer fruit.
A watermelon?
Yes.
What?
How does a boy hate watermelon?
I don't know. Maybe it does something to his digestive tract. Have you ever had coffee with watermelon? It is a disaster.
Not.
Just promise me you'll never do it.
Okay, you've got it. I will never do it.
Because it has surprisingly more acid than you would ever imagine.
Than you would think.
Those two things are a deadly combo.
Well, maybe that's what's
I've
happening
learned the
to
hard way.
Takakeisho.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
No, yeah.
Well, the Oyakata himself does not like strong vinegar in his rice.
Okay, I'd agree with that. I'd say that could be offensive.
Yep, and we already knew, but Takanosho does not like pickled plums.
Yes.
Yeah, we already knew that.
I have to agree there. That's a pretty not tasty thing for me as well.
Here's my favorite question that he asked to everyone. If you were to go on a date, where would you go?
Oh, Ueno Park?
So you can pick Takanosho, Takakeisho, or the Oyakata. Just try giving me an answer. Where do you think they would go on a date?
I think...
knowing both of them are like recently married or gonna get married.
A love hotel?
Oh, no one, surprisingly, no one said anything about a love hotel.
Tokyo Disneyland?
No.
Universal, Hello Kitty Park?
Well, the younger wrestlers in his stable, they did mention the aquarium. They would like to take a date to the aquarium.
Oh, that's romantic.
Or there was one Gyoji who said, yeah, I would take a date to Tokyo Disney. So there you go.
All right, then.
But higher up men have more money. So,
okay, so a fine dining experience?
Okay.
And a boat ride?
Oh, I like that. Takanosho said that he would take his date to the movie theater and then eat delicious food and relax.
Dinner and a movie. Okay.
There you go. Dinner and a movie. That's Takanosho style. Takakeisho. Now, he's been an ozeki for a while. He's got some cash. He can splurge on something big that might involve some travel.
Oh. Like a trip to Bora Bora?
Oh, now you're on the right train. Yes. He said a trip to Hawaii.
Oh.
He would take his date to Hawaii.
Okay.
Which is quite a good date.
Yeah.
Fellas, if you're listening, yes. Take her on a date to Hawaii. Yes. And then, the coach. Now, realize there is translation going on here. So I looked at this website on 2 different computers, and it gave me 2 slightly different translations, which I think is hilarious. One translation said that the coach would take his date to Alaska.
Oh.
Which I was like, wow, that's real far away. Wow.
Well, when you think of it, actually, it's not that far. Like, okay, so wait. So I think Tokyo to Los Angeles is like 9 hours, but like that's on the same longitude as parts of Canada and Alaska. And Alaska juts out even more in the direction of Japan. So it might be the same.
I found it surprising that he would want to go to Alaska. Maybe to take a cruise, maybe to go see bears. I don't know.
See the icebergs and the glaciers calving and things like that.
Maybe. But
and
then
the polar, not the polar
bears.
But the
Depends on how far
grizzlies.
north
Well,
you go.
could be in the way up there and see some.
Checked out maybe Northern Lights, maybe.
Yeah.
But then I checked the same website out on another computer, and the translation said not Alaska, Asakusa.
Oh, those are very different.
Yes.
That's very
this
different.
one said he would go to Asakusa and
Asakusa,
drive around, look at gourmet shops.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a translation thing.
That's
yeah.
what I thought too.
But I like the idea of like, let's take this date. We're going to Alaska. Buckle up. It's going to be a long date. 9-hour flight.
Yeah, I just had this image initially of this guy watching the Northern Lights, seeing all of the amazing wildlife. And then I saw the translation and I was like, oh no, he's not interested in wildlife at all. He wants to get into a car and go shopping.
Well,
That's
and he's
what he
going to
wants
be
do.
bringing his wife, who's a DJ. And it's much harder to be a DJ in Alaska than maybe it is in Asakusa. But I don't know.
But I just appreciate the fact that he asked everyone in his stable where they would go on a date and put that online so the rest of us could enjoy that. If you want to find out more about, the hairdressers, about everyone that works at the stable, you can find out all their favorite foods, their hobbies, what they love, what they don't love, and where they would take their date on their website. So you can check that out anytime you like. I wish I could really explain what happened with all the coach name changes.
That's all right. We
that's
don't
for
need
another
that.
day. Yeah.
We love sumo. We don't need to know the history of this guy's career in sumo, other than what kind of wrestler was he, what kind of guy is he now, and what does he do for fun. These are the things that I care about.
Exactly. And what his wife does and where he wants to go on a date.
Yeah,
Those are
I
the
mean,
most interesting
imagine your
things.
Okami-san is like always like a designated DJ. That's pretty cool. Like,
Maybe she's like scratching records in the back of practice every morning.
yeah,
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that
I have
would
this
be
whole
amazing.
image in my head of them throwing the most raucous parties.
Yeah, the Senshiraku parties would be like just totally baller. She's back there scratching records. Is that what they call it? Is
Yeah.
that what they call it? Scratching records?
Sure. That's what they called it in the 80s. I don't know what they call it now.
Who knows?
Who
well,
knows?
that was
Anyway.
fascinating. Well, thanks for looking that up. I looked up Oitekaze stable, and then again, I was at Disneyland 2 days this week, and there. But we're going to bring that to you next week. A little bit of a highlight of that stable, as well as more stables, and who are the powerhouse stables, as well as also Bonzuke stuff that's coming up. So it's going to be a big week next week.
Yep. Talk to you then.
All right. See y'all later. I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Bye.
Bye.